theory were thought to be extraordinarily difficult to comprehend. British astronomer Sir Arthur Eddington.
Oh yeah, back for another week. What is up, peeps? It is, week 32 of the weeks that I've been doing stuff. I don't think it's actually week 32 of the year because I took a couple weeks off. But whatever, no matter. Topic of today is reverse dieting. You might be thinking, what is that? How do you reverse diet? I'm like, well, that's actually what a lot of people suggest. A lot of smart people, I should say, suggest you do at the end of a diet. When you actually say diet, you mean a calorie deficit diet, because you're always on some kind of diet, whether it's the eat everything you see diet or a specific diet like I'm doing, where you're trying to hit particular numbers. The idea behind reverse dieting is to have a plan in place for the end of the diet, so that you don't just go back to what you were doing before and just put on all your body fat again. Because if you notice, that happens to a lot of people. They'll do real well on a diet, and then give it, a couple months after, they're basically right back where they were when they started the diet. And so it's kind of like, unless you dieted for just a specific event, for example, it's like, what's the point? So a couple of things you got to think about. When you've been in a calorie deficit for a while, the metabolism does slow down a bit, and that can be even more than what would be dictated just by how much weight you lost, because you'll slow down just from the fact that you don't have to drag around as much weight on your body each day, but it can also slow down a little more than what would be predicted just from that change. So you have to keep that in mind. So the idea behind reverse dieting is basically just having a plan to slowly increase your calories based on what your, like what I've been doing, like your measurements and your scale weight are doing. So for example, my plan at the end of the calorie deficit, which will be the last full week of September, is to go back to what my maintenance has been projecting as, because I always have, when I put in my numbers and my weight for the week, I have it automatically calculate what my maintenance is, assuming that all of the weight change is body fat. And so what you do is go back to maintenance, and as long as and so then you go like week to week, and if you don't gain weight, then you go ahead and you increase calories in a slow and methodical fashion. Generally speaking, I think between like 75 and 100 calories a week, and that's each day for the week, is a good rate to go. So if you don't lose weight one week, for example, you could go up 100 calories, and the way you could do that is you could add, say, 20 grams of carbs, which gets you 80 calories, and 2 grams of fat to your daily intake. And the idea with this is that you give your metabolism a chance to recover before you start hammering, tons of food in, because it is good to have lots of food if you want to gain muscle mass and strength. I think we're going to talk a little more about that next week, because I want to go over some of the things that went well on this calorie deficit diet and some of the things that did not. And so I think that's going to be next week's topic. So I guess the point is, always have a plan. Like, you're always going to be on some diet if you really want things to be controlled. But most people think of a diet as only a calorie deficit, but a diet can actually be whatever. It can be calorie surplus or whatnot. Until next week then, peace!